Welcome to the Say It Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Vasavi Kumar. If you're eager to gain clarity, speak with unwavering confidence, and liberate those inner voices, you're in the perfect spot. My mission here is to empower you to break free, find fulfillment, and ignite your passion. You ready? It's time to say it out loud. I've put together a guide of my top 10 tested and proven to work practical strategies and habits to help bright women like you say no, set your boundaries right, live confidently, and build healthy relationships, starting with the relationship you have with yourself. This is a self-paced guide, and I can't wait for you to dig into it so you can start becoming your most confident self, because she's in there waiting for you. Head to the link in my show notes or go to vasavikumar.com/guide and grab it today.
Welcome to the Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Karen Eldad. Settle in. We're about to make you feel really good. Hey, are you living a life that looks better than it feels? If you are, my book, Gilded, is a guide for anyone who's ever chased success only to find themselves exhausted, anxious, or wondering, is this all there is? And now, the Gilded Journal is here to accompany it and to help you go deeper so you can not just read the message, but live it. Together, Gilded and the Gilded Journal will help you redefine success on much better terms. They're available now on Amazon. Welcome back to the Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Karen Eldad, and we are still doing our deep dive into coaching masters. These are the teachers who truly embody masterful knowledge, the teachers who are not only all about how they do what they do or what they do even, but truly about why they do what they do. Today's masterful teacher is my new friend, Vasavi Kumar. She is a licensed therapist, a coach, speaker, and the author of the best-selling book, Say It Loud, using the power of your voice to listen to your deepest thoughts and courageously pursue your dreams. Vasavi is also the outspoken host of the Say It Loud podcast and the founder of the Say It Loud Safe Haven community. As a first-generation Indian-American woman living with bipolar disorder, Vasavi has turned her story into a movement, helping others stop hiding, own their energy, and become fully seen and heard. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a joy to have you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Let me tell you something. I like an outspoken lady.
I do too. I get that from my mother. She's an Indian immigrant woman, and she taught me how to just use my voice. That's why I wrote the book, Say It Out Loud. And it really is truly my mission to be able to help other people use their voices to say it out loud.
It's a beautiful mission, but you and I both suppressed that outspoken tendency we inherited for our mothers for quite a long time. So I'd love to dive into your story and then take people into what you do, and then also perhaps offer to the listener maybe some critical tips and some wisdom for this time that we're living in.
Yeah. Where would you like me to begin?
Well, I'm wondering if you could begin with your story.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you come to this work?
Oh man, how did I come to this work? I mean, if you read my book, Say It Out Loud, I talk all about how I came to this work. But when I really think about the reason why, it started from a very young age when I noticed my parents always fighting with each other. And as a very young kid, I grew up very quickly. I used to mediate my parents in their arguments, in their fights. And my mother would be more explosive. My father was the kind of guy who just suppressed everything. Yeah. And I would always say to my father, like, say something, say it out loud, like, say what you want to say to her. I would get really passionate about it. And I remember my mother would tell me, chumare, which means shut your mouth, like stay out of this, right? So here I was trying to be the mouthpiece for my dad. And it didn't go over it did not go over very well because, especially as an Indian woman, we are taught to not speak up too much, not to use our voices in that way, in a way that's too aggressive or too passionate. So, I grew up pretty much saying exactly what I thought needed to be said, and I always paid the consequence. Yeah. Always. But I didn't care if I got in trouble for it, because as a child, especially as a young girl, I always wanted to just protect my father. He's no longer with us. He died a few months ago. Sorry. Thank you. He died in May of 2025 this year, but I always wanted him to say the thing that he wasn't saying. He was a man who really suppressed his emotions very deep, buried them very deep. But I grew up in a pretty much, predominantly all white town, being one of the only few Indian families. It was hard growing up, like when I went to school, I was too Indian for all the white kids, but at home we had to be very Indian. We were raised by immigrants. Like we couldn't be too Americanized. So it's like I didn't belong anywhere. But the one thing that I always felt very confident using was my voice. Always felt confident using my voice, calling out what was wrong, what was unjust, what was unequal, what was unfair. It's probably why I went on to Columbia to get my master's in social work school. I got my master's in social work, went on to become a coach. I've been doing this work for 15 years. But it's interesting how I do it, Karen. Like, I'm also a voiceover artist. I'm also an actor. I'm also a podcast host. Like, I've learned how to play with my voice throughout these years.
You're a communicator. You're an entertainer.
Yeah. And it's not like performative, but it is a performance because you're bringing all these aspects to you to wake something up in people, to activate people. So now the work that I do inside the Out Loud School, which is my global monthly membership, it is a gym for your voice and your visibility. It is a place that people can come to share their voice, to practice, getting feedback on their content before they put it out on social. I mean, everything that I've gone through in my life has led me to a place where I'm like, don't bury that shit inside. Say it out loud. Yeah.
I love how organically you came to the work, and also how organically you've ended up in basically a footprint or a signature that's entirely your own.
Yes.
So essentially your life experience and also your preternatural tendencies, because with due respect to your inheritance from your mom, you were born this way, which I know because I was also born with sass mouth.
Yeah.
And that was also exacerbated by the fact that you and I probably grew up in very, My Big Fat Greek Wedding type situations, right? Like you remember in the beginning of that movie where they take us back to her in elementary school, the only kid with dark hair, the only kid with ethnic food, the only kid also with an unusual disposition, because we grew up in different societal structures, different cultural structures. Yeah. So then you have this voice and you're usually expressing it against things. And you said, it doesn't really fit in any of these environments, but it still has to dominate. And I just allowed it to follow my passions, you're saying, and then also to end up even with your own form of coaching, which is just much more of an entertainer signature, or as I like to say, thought leader signature.
Yes, that's exactly it. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's not like I'm not trying to entertain people, but in the process I do. I also attribute that to my childhood, right? My father would follow me around with the camera everywhere I went when I was a kid. So I'm very comfortable in front of the camera. I have no problem speaking in front of a camera, entertaining in front of a camera, because I'm so used to it. So then naturally, when I just kind of developed my own style of coaching and how I want to help people, we all use social media to put our work out there. Like getting on social media was very easy for me because it was just like, oh, this is very natural for me. I'm used to looking into a camera. I'm used to having my dad behind the camera and looking at him. So, that's really what I want so badly to help people with, is just like get over your fear of looking at yourself and hearing the sound of your own voice.
Because so many people are still so afraid, and especially when they're called to do this work, which with due respect is not about anyone, it's about the work.
Yes.
The visibility piece is so daunting.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I did hear or read somewhere that you said that you did struggle to be visible in the beginnings of the career. Am I wrong?
I would say in the beginning of my career, I always felt like I had to be this professional person. Like I was always visible from day one of my business. It wasn't an issue me marketing myself. It was how I marketed myself. It was how I showed up visibly, right? Like I didn't have an issue putting out my website, talking about my offers, marketing myself, selling. Like I have no problem with that in the beginning. It's like 15 years ago. I would say that the biggest struggle that I had, which I think a lot of the people that I work with now struggle with, is how do I show up? I have to show up in this persona. I have to show up with this type of facade almost sometimes. I have to be professional. I have to be polished, which is fine if that's how you want to show up. But don't show up in that way because you're afraid of showing up as your full human self, whatever that looks like for you.
I would also argue that this has changed. The professional self probably was still something that you could fly until maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Now people can truly smell through it. And it's actually because of the cadence or the frequency of posting that's required for relevancy.
Yeah.
So for example, when I was coming up, a million years ago, I remember hearing that it was very bad practice to newsletter more than once a month, then more than once a week. And now Rain, who is in this room, shout out to Rain, says, if you're not posting on every single channel every single day, they will not know who you are. And it's quite an interesting thing, because that kind of forces you into authenticity.
Absolutely.
No one can maintain that level of appearance without this. Speaking of authenticity, you know, many of us, I've spoken to many of our brothers and sisters in coaching and in therapy, and some still don't enjoy talking about the fact that they're human beings with human selves and human issues. But you are open about bipolar, for example. How has that experience shifted your visibility and your practice?
So I first want to say the reason why it's so easy for me to be able to talk about having lived with bipolar disorder, living with ADHD, having gone to rehab twice for cocaine usage. I've been in therapy since I was 12. I have no problem talking to a complete stranger. At the age of 12, I started talking about my, the inner workings of my world at the age of 12. So now at 43, like, I have no problem being like, yeah, this is what I'm going through right now. And what are you going to say about it? You're going to judge me?
Yeah.
You're not going to hire me? I don't care, right? Because for me, what matters is I am being truthful and honest, right? So if I could watch a video back and say, yep, that's exactly how I feel, that for me is a sign of success. And I think a lot of people struggle with showing that human side because they're worried about, if I show this side of me, this person is not going to hire me.
Yeah.
They're not going to think I'm professional. They're not going to think I'm credible. And I'm like, I don't want to hire someone who's never been through shit in their life. I don't want to work with someone who has never struggled a day in their life in some shape or form. So I think, it's kind of backwards thinking to think that you're going to be able to connect online by being this person who's like, my shit does not stink over here. It absolutely does. And I do think you need to be able to say that out loud and own the fact that you don't know everything. Own the fact that you've been through stuff in your life, that you don't have all the answers and you're still going through it. And I always say this to my clients, allow yourself to be seen mid-evolution. Why do we only show up when everything is packaged and perfectly put together? Allow people to see you messy. Allow people to see the behind the scenes. I recently started taking back dance classes again. I'm doing a private dance class, hip hop dance class next Wednesday. I will post that content. And I'm not a bad dancer, but like when it comes to choreography, I'm like, what am I doing? So I will still be posting that content on my social media platforms because we have to lead first. And if I'm telling my audience and I'm coaching my audience to show up messy, I have to lead the way. So I will show content of that. And I think people are afraid to do that. Let themselves be seen mid-evolution.
This is tremendous, tremendous insight for the listener. And especially for the listener who wants to do this for a living. This meaning coaching, consulting, any form of service or thought leadership. Because there are 2 points that cannot be stressed enough. The first is, you're human, be human. When you show up inauthentically as if your poop doesn't stink.
Yes.
Then with due respect, you are going to translate as inauthentic very, very quickly. No one has it together all the time. Not a single human being on the planet.
Nope.
And actually, I always say, I think that everybody finds me so much more human when I say, my dog died and I'm really sad, or my mom is sick.
Yeah.
That is what makes you human. It's not, I have all the answers and I'm stoic and I'm perfect. And the second that I just love, and I'm already thinking about my clients who need to hear this right now from you, is, what's wrong with mid-evolution? By the way, we're all mid-evolution.
Yeah.
Just FYI, just because here I am on the top of Mount Austin, apparently.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I'm anywhere near
We're
any
not.
summit. We're nowhere near done. We are actually undulating all the time. We're always becoming and unfolding. There is no shame. And I don't enjoy the people who shortcut the polish and who fake that where they are on the journey. See, one of my pet peeves is many of the well-funded startups I work with, they have this magic number. They say we're $100 million company. I don't know where they got that number from, but when you do dig into their P&L, let's just say it's not 100 million. What's wrong with we're at our first 10? What's shameful about we're still in funding?
Yes.
And so it's the same for teachers. I actually think maybe doubly so for teachers. I really appreciate that you said that. And is this a distinction that you make between surface level confidence and literally the ability to say anything out loud?
It's never about just saying anything out loud. And I want to make that very clear. I think a lot of times people read my book, which is all about rewiring your inner dialogue. People think I'm all about saying everything out loud. Please do not, for the love of God, say everything out loud, right?
We must have a filter.
Have a filter.
Yeah.
Be intentional. Is it helpful? Is it thoughtful? Is it kind? isn't going to move the conversation
Yeah.
forward. So that's the first thing. When people ask about how do you build confidence, I'm like, it's not something that you're born with. It is practice, right? It's repetition. That's why I created the Out Loud School, so people could have a place to repeat and practice and use their voice over and over again. So I think there is a big difference between that surface level confidence that you're talking about and just that internal, you get what I'm saying? Just like that inner fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the distinction being the most important part. Is it thoughtful? Is it kind? Does it need to be said? Because if your answers are yes, go for it.
Yeah.
If your answers are even just a little bit uncomfortable, no.
Don't say it out loud.
I know. One of the things that has changed my life is ChatGPT, and I'll tell you why. The only thing I use it for is running by it my emails
Yeah.
to tone me down.
Really?
If I'm angry,
okay.
I need to clean up the language. And it does it very, very nicely. It warms everything up. And it's because my intention is never to be angry or to offend.
Yeah.
So it's been very useful in that sense. It helps take that thoughtful process out for me.
That's so interesting because I actually use chat for my emails when I write to turn up the volume. I tell chat, make it more savage, make it more polarizing, make it more direct, because I'm like, you need a wake-up call. But there are times where I will, this is all about having range, right?
Yeah.
This is what we learn as actors and voiceover artists, is to have range.
Yeah.
So there will be some emails that are like, we are giving it to you straight, right in between the eyes. And there are some emails that are a little softer.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's
I
just
guess
about
it's always
practicing
about
range.
practicing range.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So you've built a very thriving business about this self-expression. How have you turned...
Hi, it's Coach Karen. If you're someone who's built an incredible life on paper, but inside you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or just done, you're not alone. A lot of people end up with success that doesn't really feel like success. If this resonates with you, I invite you to schedule a complimentary clarity call with me towards real alignment. Our one-on-one conversation will help you quiet the noise and uncover what needs to shift so you can feel more fulfilled and not just keep doing more. You haven't lost your way or your values. You just need to connect with them and to reconnect with yourself. You should know that I've coached some of the best Olympic athletes, Fortune 500 leaders, and brilliant founders through this exact moment, so I've really got you. And as a coached listener, this time is already set aside for you. Go to calendly.com/Karen Eldad to choose the date and time that's right for you. Let's start this shift together.
How would you advise the listener who wants to turn their own personal experience into visibility, platform, etc.?
I love this question. So I think anyone can take their lived personal experience and make a business out of it, turn it into a business, especially if you want to use your story, use the wisdom, use the lessons to be able to pay it forward and help somebody else. First, get really clear on your story. Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you value?
Yeah.
What have you gone through in your life? How has it shaped you? Because of how it shaped you, what is the mantra that you live by? What is the North Star? What is guiding you? What is your thing, right? Like for me, it really is about say it out loud. Your voice is your most powerful currency. Your voice is your most powerful business asset. So of course, my entire brand is about say it out loud. But for someone who's like, I have the story that I've been through a lot. I know I want to help somebody else. The first thing, before you get into offers and all that stuff and website, it's just like, get really clear on what you learned from that, how you grew. Look at your point A to your point B. How did you get from point A to point B? What did you learn? What were the mindset shifts? What were the nervous system hacks or tips that you needed to learn to regulate yourself? What was that journey? What's that transformation from point A to point B? But a lot of times, Karen, I notice it's very hard for people to own their stories because they're in their story. They're not standing on their story. Yeah. So this is a huge distinction that my mentor, Lisa Nichols, if you've ever heard her, she's an amazing storyteller. She was in the movie The Secret. She always said the difference is you don't want to stand in your story like you're still living in it. You want to stand on it. Like this happened in my life. This happened to me, but it did not... I'm not a victim because of it.
I'm not still living it.
I'm not still living it. And that is the biggest hump that I find that people face, why they can't turn their personal story into a personal brand, because they're still in the story. So it's like, What's the healing that needs to be done?
Exactly.
What's the forgiveness that needs to happen? What is the acceptance? Maybe you need to start to own the fact you're not in the story anymore. You're now in your power. A lot of times when you've gone through a lot of traumatic things in your life, even though you're out of it, your body still feels like you're in it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important that we do the healing work necessary to be able to turn your personal story into a personal brand.
I've always said that unhealed people are in no position to heal people.
I agree with you.
The great Esther Hicks was my favorite mentor. I haven't met her yet, but we're very close friends in my head.
Yeah.
Always says that if you want to teach self-love, you better know self-love.
Yeah.
Last week, I was at a conference. I'm at conferences a lot, Vasavi.
Yeah.
And there was a woman speaking out loud. She was at the podium. And she was telling a story about her youth. She was a woman well into her 50s, talking about moments in her 18s, 19s, 20s, her early years, as if they were still happening to her. And all I could think was, you are regurgitating trauma and you're eliciting from the audience sympathy, which is what you're trying to get. You are in no position to speak to them. This was not a stance of disrespect. This was simply a critic sitting in the foreground going, I really hope that many people heard a couple of points that you made. The first is you cannot be in your story still synthesizing or alchemizing. And that's not what we mean when we say, let people see you in the evolution. It means we can see the evolution of your business, but you yourself have to be completely ready for the work if you're going to do the work. The second thing I really loved was that you said that a lot of people jump to the offer, to the tactics, etc. Why don't you spend some time talking about what you actually have to offer before sitting with the marketing gurus and buying templates that might help you sell a downloadable?
Yes, that's exactly. I think that's the biggest gap that I see for people is that they are too quick to go to the strategy. And it's like, get the strategy of you. Okay. Like, let's strategize you first, right? Like, how are you really doing? What do you offer people? What is the transformation that you provide for people? It's not that you don't offer a transformation, but get clear on that first. And that's going to require you to heal parts of yourself and your story and where you're still standing in your story versus standing on your story.
Extremely well said. Thank you to you and to Lisa Nichols.
She's great. Yeah.
What does the Say It Out Loud Haven community look like?
So the Say It Out Loud Safe Haven is no longer that. It's actually now the Out Loud School.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we've completely...
The Out Loud School.
The Out Loud School, yeah. It's a global monthly membership. We have people from all over. And it's $37 a month, $397 for the year. It's a great, beautiful gym practice space for your voice, for people to come in, content creators, business owners. They come in and they share their services. They share their offerings. They get their feedback. They really practice using their voice in real time. And they also get live coaching hot seats with me twice a month. So it's
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's a really great place. I wanted to create something that was easy access for people, like an entryway into my world. And from there, if you want to work with me one-on-one and stuff like that, you can come to my retreats, all that good stuff. But I really wanted to create a place because so many people want to show up polished. And I'm like, do you know what it takes to show up polished? There is a lot of practice that happens behind the scenes.
I know. They all think that this is the easiest job on the planet. I swear to God, so many people want to become a professional speaker. There are two things I really want anybody listening to hear. First is polish doesn't just happen.
No.
It's a question of discipline and rehearsal and writing and editing and extreme practice. The professionals are doing this well for a reason. The second thing I think people don't really understand is even with an agent, I have a speaking agent, the hustle is brutal. This is booking 10 talks a year. Forget 50 talks a year is a full-time job. And I think a lot of people truly think I can do that because I don't know, they were in like a school play and played tree number 3 and were awesome. This is not the same thing.
Let's take a quick break.
Having been in therapy since the age of 12, I know firsthand just how powerful the process of finding the right therapist is. Going to therapy and talking things out with my therapist has made me happier, clearer, and most importantly, I have a plan for my mental health. I have tools to be able to communicate with others, and also the tools to cope when life gets hard, which it does. So let me ask you a question. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in this world who is going through a hard time, Therapy can give you tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with the therapist. There's a link in my description. It's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Vasavi. That's BetterHelp.com/Vasavi. Clicking that link helps support this podcast, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with the therapist and see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing out about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. I don't know where I would be without the help of therapy and my therapist, but I do know that life would feel that much harder. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Vasavi. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this podcast.
It's interesting because I have been working with somebody. I'm working with her on her transformational memoir. And she tells me, I want to be a world-renowned speaker. I want to write this best-selling book. I want to do this. And I talked to her the other day, and we talked about her organizational skills. I was like, girl, you want to be here, here, here. We can't even get you organized on a calendar.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't see, right? I want to be up top. What is your foundation? How is your foundation?
That's right.
How is your basic foundation? Like, I'm not just talking about food, shelter. Obviously that matters, but like your organization, the way you manage your time, the way you manage your energy. You want to expand when you have so much stuff on your plate right now. You can't expand.
Yeah.
Your brain and body will literally say no expansion because you have so much on your plate. So I just want everyone really hearing this who who has those dreams of being like huge authors and this and that. It's like, do the necessary groundwork first.
Yeah.
Practice first. Like, if you want to write a book, start writing every day. Like,
Literally.
why are you not writing every day? You know what I mean? If you want to be a better speaker, practice mirror work every day. Stand in front of a mirror and speak every day. Go to Toastmasters. Go to your local networking and
Yes.
maybe offer a workshop. That's how I started. I was a 28-year-old life coach, moved from New York to Kansas City. I had just gotten married. I'm divorced now. I didn't know anyone in Kansas. And it was in the middle of America, coming from New York, right? I got my foot in the door networking just by doing like Junior League of Kansas City. Like, I would do like different organizations
Yeah.
and go in and speak. That's how I became a better speaker, by
Yeah.
actually speaking.
My very good friend John Gordon is a professional speaker too.
Yeah.
He does 85 gigs a year. Just
Wow.
for comparison, I do 30 gigs a year and I'm exhausted all the time. Ask my team. I'm tired all the time. 86 is very, very brutal. That's his average, I think. And he said, when I asked him, so how'd you get in the speaking industry? He said, by speaking. Showing up and speaking anywhere they'll have you and doing it again and again and again and again and using these communities and using as many expanders as possible to become good. Your number one goal is to become good. The second is do not gloss over the organizational habits that are absolutely foundational to doing this work.
Yeah.
I think many people are trying to shortcut. They have on their vision board world-class speaker and best-selling book, but those things do not just happen.
No.
They simply don't, and you can't really fake them. I'm sorry, not even in this era.
It's like you want a best-selling book, but you have an audience of 60 people on your Instagram and you refuse to be consistent and show up every day.
Yeah.
You need a platform so that you can sell that book,
Yeah.
right? Like, I know we're not talking about book stuff now, but it just like goes into the thinking of people that I
Yeah.
really want to kind of dispel. It's like, you're not going to get to whatever this high horse you're thinking you're going to get to if you're unwilling and lack the discipline to do the things that you need to do to build that foundation so that that can grow.
That's exactly right. And it isn't there is no such thing as one fell swoop or a gust of luck or an overnight sensation. On my plane back from San Francisco yesterday, I listened to the book There Is Nothing Like This, which is just about the career and the strategy of Taylor Swift. It is no accident that she is this famous. Of
course.
It's also not a question of talent, whether you like or dislike her. That's nonsense. It's a question of consistency, organization, and just a very, very strong strategy from age 13
Wow.
until present day.
Yeah.
There are no accidents. I always tell people, if you watch somebody like Jerry Seinfeld, he's been in his game 50 years.
Yeah.
Again, like or dislike is irrelevant. It's consistency and organization and just that discipline that makes you go up, go down, but no matter what, stay in the game.
I also want to add, it's the consistency, it's the organization, and I talk about this a lot. It's also your willingness to be rejected.
Yeah.
Your willingness to suck.
Yeah.
Your willingness to be seen mid-evolution and your willingness to be rejected, because not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. Like, I did stand up a few years ago. I wrote my whole comedy set. I went through it was like a 8-week course, I think. And then I ended up doing a 5-minute set called Brown Sheep, because I'm the brown sheep of the family. And I just remember like doing open mics after that and actually like sitting for those 8 to 12 weeks and writing my comedy set and then getting up and performing. And I had it memorized. It was a full body experience, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're doing comedy, it's not just you talking, it's your whole body putting it into it. And then I started doing open mics after that. Eventually, I didn't end up doing the comedy, but my whole point in sharing this is like, you can get really good at anything if you are willing to put in the work.
1,000,000%. And if you're willing to suck and if you're willing to fail, because by the way, nobody gets to world class without, as Brene Brown, another Austinite, has said, the shitty first draft. And in my case, second, third, and fourth.
Yes.
Until you actually get to something that you're like, this is magic.
Yeah.
I'm delighted. Do you mind if we talk about one more thing that you've been transparent about that you have in common with me?
Sure.
Being child-free by choice. You know something? That's something that's very common to coaches.
It is common or uncommon?
Yes.
It's common. Okay, I didn't know that, because we are giving so much to our clients. So it's like, I've known from a very young age I did not want to have kids. I grew up very quickly, emotionally. I was a caregiver for my father and my mother, just emotionally. You know, I mean, obviously they took care of my sister and I financially and all that stuff. But like emotionally, I gave a lot. As a kid, I shouldn't have been parenting my parents. I knew from very early on I did not want to have children.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever really thought about it. For me, it's more of the question of I've never really wanted a pet elephant. And I've never asked myself why I don't want a pet elephant. I've never wanted children. I don't have that. I just don't have it.
Listen, I love my freedom.
So I don't know.
I love my time.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
It's just never crossed my mind. It's unfortunately been shoved down my throat. But every single time I reacted to it the way I react to a food I don't want to eat. No thanks.
And there's no drama around it.
None.
It's such a
Zero.
clear yes
Which
for
is
me.
one of the things I really liked about listening to you speaking about this topic in various outlets. It's not only do we not feel shame, we're making it okay for other people to not have too much of a reason and to be completely okay with it and to be accepting of the way we are.
Yes, I am single and child-free, and I'm really happy.
I'm delighted to hear it.
I'm open to
Mazel
love.
tov to
Thank you. I am open to love, but I am definitely not open to children. So I'm very clear on that.
Well, let me tell you something. I have gotten 19 couples together to date.
Okay, so we're
So,
talking
let's
now.
see, maybe one of these days you
Yeah.
come to Shabbat, you happen to be sitting next to someone, who knows what happens. But I'm a huge believer in love.
I would love for you to match me up with someone.
Well, let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
The night is young.
I mean, that's very common in the Indian culture, by the way, to be
course.
set up arranged marriages.
Have you heard about the Jews? I think we've
we
got the
have something in
matchmaking thing
common.
down.
Okay.
Is there a practice that keeps you grounded as you are, because you're now on an ascent?
Yeah.
And I've had a brutal year because it's been very, very successful. I have to tell you, my nervous system was like, no.
Yep.
Is there a practice that's helped you stay anchored?
Yes, I pray out loud. That's it. I pray out loud. I talk to God out loud. First thing in the morning, I have full-blown conversations with God out loud, back and forth. And that God that I'm speaking about is just the God within myself. I'm literally just speaking to myself, the very pure, the purest, highest part of myself. And I just have conversations. So I pray out loud. I do a lot of mirror work. I talk in front of the mirror. I have great friends. But to keep me anchored, I spend a lot of time in silence. I spend a lot of time in solitude. I mean, I'm a Taurus, so I am like a popular loner. Like, I love being around people, but I can be by myself, and I cherish that solitude. Something about that really grounds me. I'm like good with myself.
Yeah.
I'm good with me.
I love it.
So wherever I go, I'm here with you. I'm good with you. I'm good with me and you here. So it's like the solitude. It's also the praying out loud, having those conversations with my understanding of God. And that really helps.
I've never heard it said together, popular
Loner. Yeah.
That's a nice way of saying ambivert. I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I, too, am a very popular loner. Mm-hmm. If it was up to me, I'd spend at least half my day in a bathrobe like Hugh Hefner,
Yeah.
watching TV with a cat.
Yes.
But I'm also delighted to have had the chance to leave the house, put some shoes on,
Yeah.
and talk to you today. This was most enlightening.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for helping a lot of people say it out loud. I know what you've shared with our listeners today is going to be invaluable for them in the building of businesses, but also hopefully in the opening of their hearts to a new dimension.
Thank you so much, Karen. I really loved the questions. I love the conversation. I love being here.
Thank you. I loved it too. And if you loved it, please take the time to review us, to subscribe to us on Apple or Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can keep bringing you the best teachers in the world. Thank you so much for listening to the Coach Podcast. We'll see you next time. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
You are brilliant.
Thank you.
If you love today's episode, then say it out loud. Subscribe, leave a review, and come say hi over on Instagram at My Name is Vasavi. Until next time, say it out loud.